What if the single most protective thing you could do for your gut health today is not a supplement, not a probiotic, not a special diet, and not a new meal plan? It is a change in how you eat. One specific adjustment to something you do 3 times a day. And after 16 years of working with patients, I have seen this pattern so consistently, it has become one of the first things I look for. A patient came to see me. I will call her Margaret. She was 73, a retired school teacher from Ohio. She told me she had completely overhauled her diet over the previous 2 years. Less processed food, more vegetables, more fiber, everything she had been told to do. And she was still bloated after almost every meal. Still waking up with that uncomfortable heaviness in her abdomen. Still feeling like something was wrong that nobody could explain. Margaret was doing the right things, but she was doing them the wrong way. And that distinction, I want to tell you right now, is everything. Today, I am going to show you what was happening in Margaret's gut and what is most likely happening in yours. I am going to explain the one simple change that transformed her digestion, and I am going to give you 5 practical steps to build that change into your daily life. Everything in this video is based on established physiology and is reviewed for accuracy, but it is not a substitute for your own physician's guidance. The problem: reactive eating. Let me describe something to you, and I want you to think honestly about whether this sounds familiar. You sit down for a meal when you are already hungry, often very hungry, because the day got busy, or the schedule shifted, or you simply did not pay attention to the clock. You eat quickly, because that is the pace life has set for you over decades. The plate empties in 10 or 12 minutes. You feel full, sometimes uncomfortably full, and within a few hours that fullness has become bloating or gas or a slow, heavy feeling that sits with you through the afternoon. This is what I call reactive eating, and it is one of the most common patterns I see in the adults over 70. Margaret had been doing it her entire life without knowing it had a name or that it was something she could change. It develops gradually. What starts as a busy schedule becomes a habit. The body adapts to eating fast. And somewhere in that adaptation, the fine-tuned. The digestive process that was designed to work in a very specific order begins to break down. Here is why this matters more than most people realize. Your digestive system is not a single organ. It is a coordinated sequence. When you begin eating, a cascade of signals is supposed to start firing. Signals to the stomach to begin producing acid, signals to the pancreas to begin releasing digestive enzymes, signals to the small intestine to prepare to receive and absorb nutrients. That cascade takes time to fully activate. And when you eat faster than that system can respond, you are running ahead of your own biology. You overwhelm the stomach before it is ready. You consume more than your body needs before the signal to stop has arrived. And the first result in the gut is a backlog. Undigested food sitting longer than it should. Fermentation by gut bacteria that produces excess gas. Bloating, discomfort, and over time, a gut environment that is chronically reactive rather than calm. The good news is that this is a mechanical problem, and mechanical problems have mechanical solutions. If you are finding this useful, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss a video made specifically for your health after 70. Leave a 1 in the comments if you are enjoying this, or a 0 if I can do better. One change: slow down and chew. From your very next meal forward, slow down. And within that slowing down, pay specific attention to one thing. Chew each bite until the food in your mouth has lost its distinct texture, until it is no longer recognizable as a piece of food. This is called thorough mastication, and it is where digestion actually begins. When you chew properly, several things happen simultaneously. The mechanical breakdown of food into smaller particles for your digestive enzymes to work on. Saliva, which contains the enzyme amylase, begins the chemical breakdown of carbohydrates before the food ever reaches your stomach. The act of chewing itself sends signals to the rest of the digestive system, triggering that readiness cascade, so that by the time food arrives in the stomach is prepared. And because thorough chewing naturally slows the pace of eating, your satiety hormones have time to catch up, which means you eat the amount your body actually needs rather than the amount that fills the plate. What does this look like in practice? Put your fork or spoon down between each bite, not occasionally, every single bite. Take a mouthful, put the utensil down, chew until the texture is gone, swallow. Then pick the fork up again. That is the rhythm. When you make this adjustment, bloating after meals may reduce because the stomach is receiving food in a form it can process more efficiently. The uncomfortable overfull feeling that follows a fast meal can ease because your satiety signals have time to arrive before you have eaten past the point your body wanted you to stop. And your gut environment, over time, may become less reactive because the digestive cascade is running in the correct order, at the correct pace, the way it was designed to function. But it triggers a sequence throughout your entire digestive system that begins working with you with every single meal. Now, I want to show you 5 practical steps that will make this new eating pattern feel natural and sustainable. And I will tell you now, the 5th step is the one most people skip entirely, and it may be the most important of all. Stay with me. Step 1, the 10-second pause before your first bite. Why it matters. The transition from whatever you were doing before the meal to actually sitting down and eating is one of the most underestimated moments in digestion. The digestive system is governed significantly by the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for rest and recovery. It does not function optimally when you arrive at the table mentally rushed. Eating while mentally hurried, even if you are physically seated, it keeps your nervous system in a state that is not well designed for digestion. How to do it? Before you take your first bite, sit with your meal in front of you for 10 seconds. Look at it. Take 2 or 3 slow breaths. This is not a meditation practice. It is a physiological signal, a deliberate downshift that prepares your gut to receive food properly. Think of it as turning the ignition on before you start the engine. Step 2, fork down between every bite. Why it matters. Speed is the primary enemy of proper digestion after 70. And the single most effective mechanical intervention for slowing your eating pace is removing the eating instrument from your hand between bites. The natural tendency is to be loading the next bite while you are still chewing the current one. The result is that pace is set by your hand, not your gut. How to do it? After each bite, place your fork flat on the table. Not in your hand, on the table. Chew until the texture is gone. Swallow, then pick it up again. That is the complete cycle for every single bite. The moment you feel the urge to pick the fork back up before you have finished chewing is the moment to notice. That urge is the old pattern. The pause is the new one. Step 3, the 20-minute meal floor. Why it matters. It takes approximately 20 minutes for the hormonal signals of fullness, including peptide YY and GLP-1, to communicate meaningfully between the gut and the brain. This is the biological timeline of the system. Eating faster than 20 minutes means making decisions about how much to consume without the information your body was designed to give you. The result is almost always overconsumption, and overconsumption stresses the digestive system in ways that compound over time. How to do it? Set a timer for 20 minutes when you sit down to eat. Not to rush to finish before it goes off, but as a floor, a minimum. Your meal should last at least 20 minutes. Use the fork down practice from step 2. Pause between bites. Drink water slowly during the meal. Let the time pass. Many people notice that the desire to continue eating begins to fade naturally around the 15 to 20 minute mark. That is the system working correctly. Step 4. The mid-meal check-in. Why it matters. Most adults over 70 grew up in households where finishing what was on the plate was not optional. That conditioning runs deep. It means many people eat to completion of the plate rather than to completion of the body's signal. After 70, when gut motility naturally slows and the stomach empties more gradually than it did at 40, this pattern is particularly mismatched with what the body actually needs. How to do it. At the halfway point of every meal, put your fork down for 30 seconds and ask yourself honestly, how hungry am I right now? Not whether the plate is half empty. How hungry is the body? If the honest answer is that you are already comfortable, not full, just comfortable, slow down further. This is not about eating less. It is about eating in alignment with what your gut is actually communicating. Step 5, the post-meal stillness. This is the step most people skip, and I want to explain why it matters before you decide it is not worth your time. After 70, the migrating motor complex, which is the cleaning wave that moves through your small intestine between meals to clear debris and prepare the gut for the next round of digestion, becomes less efficient. One of the things that supports it is a period of relative stillness after eating. Not immobility, but the absence of intense physical activity that would redirect blood flow away from the digestive system. The meal does not end when you put the fork down. It ends when your gut has had the conditions to process what you gave it properly. Disrupting that process immediately by rushing back into a demanding schedule has measurable effects on digestive comfort and efficiency. How to do it. After each meal, allow yourself 10 to 15 minutes of quiet, low activity, sitting comfortably, or a very slow, short walk if you prefer to move. No stressful screens. No difficult conversations, no rushing. Just a brief pause in which your gut has the conditions it needs to do its job. This is not indulgence. It is the final stage of digestion. Margaret, the patient I told you about at the beginning of this video, made exactly these 5 changes. Within 3 weeks, she told me the bloating after dinner had become noticeably less frequent. Within 6 weeks, she described her digestion as the calmest it had felt in years. She had not changed what she ate, she had changed how. I cannot promise you the same timeline. Every gut is different. But the mechanisms at work are the same for everyone. Important note before you begin. These steps are appropriate for the vast majority of adults over 70, but please speak with your physician before making changes if you have been diagnosed with gastroparesis, a motility disorder, a history of significant reflux or esophageal conditions, or if your physician has given you specific dietary guidance. If any changes to your eating pattern produce new or worsening symptoms, stop and consult your doctor. Nothing here is worth pursuing at the cost of your comfort or safety. What you have seen today is that the gut after 70 is not a fixed system. It is a responsive one. And what it responds to is not only the food you give it, but the conditions under which you give it, the digestive cascade. From the first chew to the post-meal stillness is a sequence that was designed to run at its own pace. When you let it, things may change. The bloating that has felt like a fixed feature of your life may ease. The heaviness after meals may become less predictable, less frequent, something that you begin to worry about less. And the energy your body was spending managing a reactive gut can go toward everything else you care about. Aging changes what your gut needs, but it does not remove its ability to respond. These 5 steps are not a cure. They are a change in conditions. And these conditions are something you control every single day, 3 times a day, starting with your very next meal. I would love to hear from you. Digestive discomfort worse after certain meals, at certain times of day, or after long periods of sitting? Leave a comment with your age and where you are. Your experience may be exactly what another viewer needs to read today. If this video was useful, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0 and tell me how to do better. Like, share, and subscribe for more content made specifically for your health after 70. And if you want to go deeper on what your gut needs at this stage of life, the next video is waiting for you right now.